Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sort of like on the side of like I want more freedom, right? I
Yeah.
want less people to tell me what to do, and I want less authority, right? Um, that to me is sort of like what America is about, right?
Yes.
I and I'm a U.S. citizen, right? But for example, you didn't grow up in the States, right? You immigrated.
Yeah. I went from Germany to the United States. Yeah.
So what did you why did you come to the States of all places? Like you could I guess you could have stayed in Europe. What attracted you to the States?
Freedom. Just freedom. The idea of freedom, and that's something that not many people understand. I have relatives in Germany telling me that the United States isn't as free as it once was. It's not like you think. And think to myself, well, gee, I'm here for like 13 years, and my friends from Germany tell me that things are not as they seem. Well, I'm here, I, I can, yeah, things have become worse maybe here and there, but people think that are outside the United States that they understand the United States, and they just simply don't, right? Um, Other people don't understand, Americans don't understand the German mind. I understand it because I grew up there, but I can't understand what France is about. But I also don't tell people that France isn't as it once was there, in whatever political aspect they have. And this is so strange. I can't really put it in words why I came here. It's freedom. You're free to you're free to succeed, you're free to fail. You can really do your own thing and be left alone. I think that's the most important, part. And maybe also, I mean, on my personal life, what affects me personally, I probably have as much freedom in Germany as I have here, but it's the idea on which the country is built. Whereas Germany is built on an idea where you have very regulated, or not, I mean, not overly regulated, but you have a very, things have to work in order. The buses have to come like on the minute, and they really do.
Uh-huh,
Um,
uh-huh, I see.
right? So Germany has a very like Germany is a very perfectionist mindset, and it's also a very rule-based mindset. And things have to work, and they have to work nicely, and you have to get a lot of certifications and licenses if you want to become a tradesman in Germany, for example. You can't just like go get some one license and then start repairing people's plumbing. That's not working like that. So you have to go through an apprenticeship, and after 3 years you get a license, and then you can really operate. It's not the same here. So Germany is much more regulated in that way than the United States is, and that's a different mindset. And if you like that mindset, then Germany is the right country for you. But if you have a basic freedom mindset, you have much different ideas about freedom than people in Germany even have. You see that libertarian ideas that are very normal and almost like mainstream in the US, Germans would be aghast about. Like, how
Hmm.
can it be? Like, the Second Amendment for Germans, it's like that they are horrified by it, that
Huh.
people are even exist carrying weapons. But and then when the Second Amendment, in my view, is also there to support the First Amendment, then that's not something like a normal German has on their mind, right?
Hmm.
And so in that way, the U.S. is very different. That we see, the U.S. in something like, if you read Murray Rothbard's The Anatomy of the State, that's a very that's yeah that's when American reads that, they say, yeah, sure, that's the government is basically like a cartel or like a corporation, and government tries to control people, and government is seen more as an external force in the US. In Germany, government is seen like we are the government, which breaks down if you think about like bad things that government does. It's not like people that get persecuted in the 1930s. Yeah, they also were the government, right? I mean, then this argument breaks down that we are the government, really,
Well,
because
hold on.
then
So I guess my question is like what when you were in Germany, I guess you were as a German, you'd think like do you not have that perfectionist kind of attitude? Like what were you what did you have in your imagination when you were thinking of coming here? And then now that you've been here, how did that sort of compare to what you had thought your dream, I guess,
Yeah,
dream
yeah.
reality, right?
There was an interesting evolution to me what happened when I came here. For example, I was growing up in the academic area in Germany, and then I was always fascinated by the US, and then I did like an internship in 2002 in Iowa City, and I loved it there. So I thought if you love it for 1 month in Iowa City, you can go anywhere in the US. And I read the book Gödel, Escher, Bach by Douglas Hofstadter, and that was recommended to me. And that reinforced the mindset of you see like long-haired professors in the 70s on campus, and freedom and happiness, and discussing all kind of crazy ideas and stuff like that. And that was like paradise for me. And so when I came here in the US first for good in 2005, 2006, I was very much trying to put a European mindset on top of the US. So I thought the US is just Europe, but maybe a little bit freer, a little bit more opportunities. But
What
I
is
thought the
Europe?
rest is pretty much Europe.
What does that mean exactly? I'm not European. I haven't
Yeah,
been to Europe. So what does that mean to you?
a European. It means that you have all the universal healthcare. You have like all this like universal, basically just yeah, universal healthcare is one thing. Um, It's a good question. What's the European mindset? Um, I think I felt like in that point was like being in academia, but more opportunities, more the minds were like a little bit open, a little bit more open. And being academia mind means discussing crazy ideas, but always having some sort of basic social net, having health insurance, like social insurances. Um, I was actually really puzzled that there's nothing like a in Germany you have to have an insurance that if you topple like a vase over at a store, then your insurance pays the $200 you just cost the store, something like that. Something like that doesn't really exist here. If you drive a car, yes, but not like that. So I was more safety minded in my mind, and I was basically, to me, the US was like a friendly, safe space with larger opportunities than you had in German. And I was growing up in a very very sheltered academic environment, and so that's what the US was to me. And then I got confronted to with libertarians, which I never really had heard before, and I was intrigued though. For example, there was one very, very, very interesting moment for me. There was shortly after Obama was elected, we had a Ron Paul rally they showed and interviewed people about the Constitution. I thought, oh no, those are these strange rednecks I heard so much about. They all say there's nothing good about those. Let's see what he has to say. And I thought then the guy was saying that was talking about the Constitution. I thought, well, wait a second, this guy has an enormous grasp about the Constitution. Wow, he really knows this stuff. And then I thought, yeah, but all white guys. And then the camera was panning over, and you saw a black dude with an AR-15, and that was like shocking to
America.
me. I thought, well,
Yeah.
can that be right? And and um, and then and that kind of like set a seed in my mind, but I wasn't like pro Tea Party or anything that came up then. Then in 2009, the Democrats pushed through the universal health care, and I thought finally people have health care. You had all these horror stories of people that can't afford the cancer treatment and stuff like that. I thought finally that's been taken care of. Great. And then somebody told like I had a Republican colleague, and she was talking very not very favorably of Senator Ted Kennedy. He was like really one of the key figures of putting health insurance through, and she recommended me to read Atlas Shrugged, and I read Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand, and that also like that put a lot of new ideas into my mind, and so that was some of the ideas were difficult to grasp for me, but the more I looked at these concepts, the more libertarian minded I became myself, and I think that's the evolution. And now I see that you cannot really understand, you cannot compare the German mentality with the American mentality. I think you cannot even compare the German mentality with the Anglo-Saxon political mentality. Germany is all about like, we do things together and they work, like Prussian precision. Like, like a Prussian military that was like the hallmark of precision. You have people that are proud that they're public servants. They're really proud in Germany. They're happy public servants. So it's never, the state is never seen as the enemy in Germany, whereas the Anglo-Saxon mindset, I think, and the American mindset is seeing the state much more as a separate entity. Whereas in Germany, the state is more seen as being integrated with everything else. And one funny thing when I discuss with friends and with German friends, one thing that we never seem to get on one level is so these friends are very fond of privacy. Privacy is very important, and I can talk to them about abuse of privacy. But then to me, then if one part of the government is abusive, then the whole government isn't to be trusted. But but that's just one branch of government that misbehaves. The rest of government is essentially good. And that makes no sense to me logically, but to them it does make sense. And I guess that's one of the difference if you come from a German mentality where you think the state is really very integrated, we all are the state, we all are together, then you see there's some black sheep that behave inappropriately, but the rest of the government is great. Whereas if you see the government as an external entity, then you see one mistake and then you say, okay, that's enough for me to know that we shouldn't trust government at all.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right.
If you're interested in learning more, check our YouTube channel for the full interview. If you need help with the writing assignment or help completing a college course, contact us at Academic Composition.